This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLisio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, November 2015 slowly coming to a close, but plenty more shows are on the way. Still going strong since 1966. This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLisio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Hey, no time for chit-chat. We've got a ton of stuff to get to today. Now, coming up, in the ever-changing market of Georgia cattle prices, Mark Wildman chats with one expert who says while some areas are on the decline, others are really looking good for the future. Also on the program, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. That's what they say, right? Well, after years of finishing as the proverbial bridesmaid, this Pike County couple is now celebrating after being given a major Georgia Farm Bureau award. And then later.
Hey everybody, Ranger Nick here, hanging outside of a cave. Coming up, we're going to talk about the benefits of these places, not only for the species that live here, but also for ag and natural resources. And it all starts right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, every year, the Georgia Farm Bureau helps promote Farm City Week by hosting a number of events in communities all across the state. One such gathering recently took place in Cook County, where farmers, politicians, and industry leaders all came together to celebrate agriculture.
Started in 1966, Farm City Week is designed to highlight the relationship between the state's farmers and their partners in the urban and legislative arena. And that was on full display at this picnic in Lenox, where people from all different spectrums of the industry got a chance to meet and greet.
And we invited all the other legislators and give them an opportunity to talk to, just kind of connect with the South Georgia community and the farming community. This is a family farm, and we've all raised here. Our grandparents were here, and we're lucky to have them here.
And one of those in attendance was U.S. Representative Austin Scott, who had plenty of valuable information to share from his many years of serving on the Agriculture Committee in Washington. However, it wasn't all about business.
And we're going to have some pretty detailed discussions, I'm sure, about the trade agreements and the potential to export our products into other countries. And I'm sure we'll have some simpler discussions about deer hunting and those types of things.
The main speaker was Georgia Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall, who stressed just how important the state is to the entire agricultural industry worldwide.
I've had the opportunity to learn all the different commodities that we grow here in this state, and really and truly the diversity in agriculture in Georgia is just awesome. We are positioned to be the breadbasket of the world, where states are running agriculture out. We have our arms open, and we're here welcoming them in because of this.
And it's not just the passion from the farmers that makes this industry so successful, as the legislators also share the same sentiment.
We got great farmers here. We got good soil. These farmers are ready to take the technology to the next level. And then, on top of all that, we got an environment around our legislative group in our Capitol and in Congress that still understands the importance of agriculture.
This event also served as a good time for Duvall to promote his run for American Farm Bureau president. It's a position Austin Scott believes he is more than qualified for.
And so the beauty of Zippy is that he understands that keeping those commodity groups together who sometimes have competing interests, but for the most part have common goals, it's what it takes for us in Washington to be able to pass things like a good crop insurance program, for example. And so I think that he will make an exceptionally good leader for the Farm Bureau and the agriculture community and the rural community as a whole. And I look forward to working with him as a member of the Ag Committee, and I know that a lot of other people up there do too.
So with more than 250 people in attendance, this picnic reinforced the importance of agriculture in the state while also providing plenty of food and fun.
It's overwhelming. It's good. It shows the strength of Farm Bureau and what it does throughout our community, our county, on the state, local levels, and it's just awesome that a great group of people could come together to show support.
We love to cook, we love to eat, and we feel like we do a good job at it, so we're excited to have the crowd we've got here today.
Reporting from Cook County, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, meantime, Georgia beef cattle producers have been enjoying higher prices in recent years, but as all farmers are aware of, high prices don't stay around forever. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has an update on cattle prices and what the economists are saying about the Georgia market.
Around Georgia, it is not uncommon to see cattle grazing in the fields. And over the years, Georgia cattlemen are used to prices going up and down. UGA ag economist Dr. John McKissick works year-round keeping track of cattle markets and helps producers manage their farms by giving them good economic analysis.
Well, things are very good, relatively speaking. They're not as good as they were in late 2014 and 2015, but some of this is to be expected as we go through the cattle cycle where we're rebuilding cattle numbers, and we're going to be looking at years ahead where we have increasing beef production.
Currently, feeder cattle prices are down around $50 a hundredweight from this time last year, and there are several factors that are contributing to that decline.
Number one is our export-import balance. With our high cattle prices, our high beef prices, we've been importing a lot more beef because it's very attractive to other exporting countries, and we've been exporting a lot less beef. So that's really adding right now about 7% more beef on the market than we would have had than we had last year. The other is there's tremendous competition on the market. Both poultry producers have increased by 4%, pork producers have increased by 7%. Despite the decline in domestic beef production, we're going to have a record meat production year this year. So there's tremendous competition in all the meat markets. And those two factors, combined with some negative noise in the market as far as demand, we've had two reports that have caused uncertainty about beef demand in the future that have come out recently, and that's caused a lot of uncertainty in the markets.
Cattle prices react to the price of grains, and as grain prices rise and fall, so does the price of cattle.
It's been a big boost to our feeder calf prices over the last 3 years as we've seen grain prices tumble by more than a half from where they were, say, 3 years ago or even 2 years ago. But this year, as compared to last year, grain prices are up a little bit. We've had more harvest trouble. We've had strong demand because of all these animals we got on feed for grain prices. So they're up a little bit, and that's also a little bit of a negative factor for the feeder calf market.
Economists say that beef cattle market cycles usually range about 10 years. And even though times are good, producers need to be careful how they manage their operations. Dr. McKissick feels farmers should try and produce as much beef as they can in the short term with as minimal investment as possible. But he feels the market will remain strong.
We're not going to have the kind of profits that we had in 2014. This year, this fall's calf crop is not selling as high as it did in 2014, but it's still a profitable price, and I also expect next year, 2016, to show that it will be a profitable year for the cow-calf producer in Georgia also.
For the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm Mark Wildman.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. Now, when we come back,
the pecan rolls, they're hand-fashioned. There's a good bit of handwork that goes into that, as well as with the divinities.
go behind the scenes with us and see how this Georgia candy company is using homegrown products to turn out delicious holiday treats. Stay with us.
Every year, Georgia Farm Bureau recognizes outstanding young farmers for their work on the farm and in Farm Bureau activities.
Once again, 3 finalists were chosen for the annual Young Farmer Achievement Award, and although all of them were worthy of the prize, only one was chosen. Today, we bring you their story.
I'm Matt Bottoms, and this is my wife, Melissa. We're 5th generation farmers here in Pike County with background in small fruit nursery and row crop. Our family history in agriculture includes nursery production, small grain farming, as well as cattle operations. The Achievement Award to us is the highlight of the Young Farmer program because it actually shows what the young farmers are doing and producing in their operation, and actually gives a glimpse into their hard work. To be able to achieve the things that we have in the Young Farmer program and here on our farm, we've committed a lot of hours throughout the last 10 years and longer, but in our marriage the last 10 years that we've committed to working here on the farm, you know, to late hours at night, getting up, hauling grain early in the morning or hauling plants early in the morning.
Matt's one of the hardest working people I know. He's constantly thinking, what's the weather going to be? What do I need to do at the nursery? All right, what grains do I need to spray today? And it's just all the stuff that he has going on in his head all day long. It just blows my mind sometimes. And then he's got to come home and be a husband and be a dad, and that's a lot in itself too. So it amazes me what he does every day and keeps in the air juggling all the time. He's amazing. Our newest addition this year is Abigail, and she was very prayed for, and we were excited when we found out we were having our third child, and then we found out it was a girl. So Daddy is seriously outnumbered now. So, but they're our two oldest girls. They love to play and be out here and ride tractors, and we are sure she'll be doing the same thing here in a few years. So, this is Abigail Clare.
Every once in a while, we get a chance to look at an operation that doesn't involve the farm, at least not directly. Now today, we take you behind the scenes of a very successful Boston, Georgia candy company that enjoys using regionally grown products to make some sweet treats for you to enjoy. George Dillon made his first batch of candy in 1918 in the stockroom of a neighborhood grocery store. For 3 generations, the art of hand-making small batches of specialty nut candies cooked in open copper kettles has been kept alive by the Dillon family.
And from that origin to locations in Jacksonville, Florida, and also Thomasville, Georgia, he had several factories. In the 50s, he retired, moved to Boston, began a farm. That didn't work out, and he had saved some of his equipment from the factories, and he and my grandmother began to make candy again as a retirement business. And so they sold to local merchants and did that up until his passing in the early 80s.
Inside the candy factory on U.S. Highway 84 in Boston, Georgia, you'll find all types of delicious nut candies, including brittles, pralines, and pecan logs being made.
Belt-coated product. We buy the pecans and we buy the chocolate. Then we melt the chocolate and we coat those pecans in the chocolate. It's made in what you call a fire mixer with a copper kettle that's cooked, mixture of sugar and nuts. Initially, where we may have had about a ratio of 4-to-1 milk chocolate to dark chocolate, now we're seeing more of a 3-to-2.
A UGA graduate, Tom Cook, said he's proud to use Georgia-grown products like pecans and peanuts.
Well, our main products are pecan-based products. A pecan roll, pecan brittle. We also have a peanut brittle and a peanut roll. And of course, those items, the pecans and the peanuts, are indigenous to Georgia. And we use quite a number of those. So we buy from local shellers, and we don't guarantee that all products are from Georgia, but most of those are. Georgia's the #1 producer of pecans, peanuts many times out of the year. So the majority of those do come from the state of Georgia.
The pace is really beginning to pick up at Dillon Candy Company for the upcoming holidays, too.
Work hard, not lose sight that we're making a quality product, and it is what I see as a niche market. We're on the upper end of the scale of, say, a pecan roll or a brittle. The brittles, for example, are hand stretched. They're uniquely thin, makes it easy to eat. The pecan rolls, they're hand fashioned. There's a good bit of handwork that goes into that, as well as with the divinities and the other items. So it's a niche market, and it is something that lately has grown, and people, I think, some of the younger people are becoming more aware of it. I believe the older individuals are used to that product from travels when they had as younger people, and we hear a good bit of that from them.
If you're traveling on Highway 84 in Thomas County, east of Thomasville, be sure you stop and visit Dillon Candy's gift shop. And at any time, learn more about the company by visiting their website, dilloncandy.com. Just a reminder, if you missed any part of the story or others on today's show, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. That's the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archive of stories going back to 2009.
Yeah, and of course, Kenny, once you're done watching all those great stories, just keep clicking like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page we have set up for you. Also, if you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, please feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or at the address listed below. That's news@farm-monitor.com. All right, when we come back, the Monitor goes deep undercover as in exploring the rich history of Georgia caves. Who better to explore those caves than Ranger Nick himself? That's next. Stay tuned.
Michael Trost enjoys taking care of his horses, but there was a time when he wondered if he'd ever have a moment like this. Today he has this Blount County farm near Maryville. Trost is an Army veteran, retired after 32 years of service. On patrol in Afghanistan in 2012, he was shot 5 times, once in the hand, and he lost a finger and thumb. The other 4 bullets went into his leg and left Trost partially paralyzed for a time.
That really changed my life, and it changed everything that I was going to do from that point on. So I had to find something less dangerous to do, and I found my calling, I guess, with being a gentleman farmer.
A group of fellow veterans pitched in to build Trost this barn, and now he and his wife raise donkeys and alpacas for wool, and they're also producing garden vegetables.
It's like eating beer.
However, their main agricultural venture is growing hops. Trost sees an expanding market producing grains for breweries. Trost is served by a UT Extension program called AgriAbility, which has provided agricultural information for his farming operation and other assistance.
AgriAbility has worked with more than 2,000 producers the past 2 decades or so. The goal is to help anyone with a disability who wants to farm.
Eileen Legault with UT Extension says AgriAbility's focus has now expanded to include veterans who also farm.
Some people are calling farmer veterans the next generation of farmers. They want to give back another type of service, and but they don't know where to go to. In Extension, we can help them learn about the resources that are out there, depending what type of farming they want to do.
Trost says when you've had your own blood on your hands, it's nice to change that for soil. He has every intention of farming for a long time.
It's time for us to reflect and take stock and look at what we do have, and just to thank that soldier or sailor or Marine or airman or whatnot and say, hey, thank you.
This is Chuck Denny reporting.
Finally today, as he approaches his 25th episode here on the Georgia Farm Monitor, Ranger Nick, aka UGA Associate Professor Dr. Nick Furman, has spent the majority of his time teaching us about things above ground.
Yes, but recently, Ranger Nick and myself took the segment underground to learn about the many caves here in the state of Georgia. One cave in particular, Frick's Cave in Walker County, which is home to a colony of rare gray bats and protected under the Endangered Species Act.
So you see the gear that I've got on to go into a place like we're in today. Not just anybody can go into a cave, and I am joined by 2 cave experts. E.T. Davis and Sarah Keys are sitting with me today. And Mr. Davis, tell us a little bit about your role as it pertains to caves here in North Georgia.
Well, I've been caving for about 45 years and have grown with the whole process, and I'm currently the Frick's Preserve Manager. And
good. So, and the years that you've been doing this, do you often see folks that come on that one day a year that you can come here and come in? Is that a magical time for folks?
Yes, that's a very special time. Very, very special. They get access to the cave and can see what's going on here. This cave is managed, each cave owned by the Southeastern Cave Conservancy has its own management policy to suit that particular cave. And this one is well protected and still has access. Other caves are very wide open.
Interesting. And so if we were to get stuck in here today, Sarah Keys would be someone who would certainly be able to help us, a certified cave rescuer. And Sarah, tell us a little bit about your role in the cave world here in North Georgia as well.
Well, I'm also part of the management committee for Frick's Cave, and the cave is closed throughout the year to protect the bats. It's only open for members and their guests once a year, and it allows the people who contribute to the Cave Conservancy to see where their money's going and how they're actually protecting the bats. And that protect the bats and the property around it is one of the major focuses of the Southeastern Cave Conservancy. A couple of the other roles, I am also a member of the Walker County Cave and Cliff Rescue Team.
Good.
And we respond to calls in Walker County, both in caves and cliff related, for if someone is hurt while they're rappelling on a cliff, or we also do searches if someone is like a hunter or a hiker gets lost. We get paged out for those kind of things too. We're part of the fire department.
So from the recreational side, aren't we glad that we've got these two individuals with us today? So right off the bat, no pun intended, we've talked about the recreational side of a place like this. Let's talk a little bit about the ecological benefits that a place like this provides. So we've driven down the road about 10 miles to another cave, and I'm joined by a couple wonderful assistants here, Gabby and Abby, and Sarah's with us as well. We've just found a couple of salamanders back inside of one of these caves, and what's interesting is that from an ecological standpoint, a lot of benefits here. You're noticing that I'm not running over with Gabby and Abby and grabbing a hold of the salamander to show it to our friends at home. Sarah, why wouldn't that be a good idea in such a fragile habitat like this cave?
One of the most important things to remember is the National Speleological Society's motto is take nothing but pictures and leave nothing but footprints. And that is a great, I guess, motto to go by, a guideline that you should respect the environment. These animals are here because they live here. We are visiting their home, and we need to respect their space, and we could damage them by picking them up in a way that they may not recover from. So the best advice is just to view them and let them be.
And not everything is as pretty as the salamanders that we found just a second ago. So take a look around us here. Not only am I surrounded by beautiful rocks in a cave, but I'm also surrounded by these little pellets, bat guano. And you might be saying, I wanna know what this stuff is beneficial for, and I'll tell you, it is actually the first commercial fertilizer that was used in the United States. Guano is used to increase the nitrogen count within soils. Talk about a wonderful way to use a waste product to benefit agriculture, and literally, we are surrounded by this in this cave. Obviously, the bats like what they're eating around this place. Man, y'all, I am exhausted. What an amazing day. Crawling around in caves in North Georgia. Got so many folks that we want to thank. The Southeastern Cave Conservancy, of course. And if you want more information about caves here in the Southeast and how you can help through conservation, click on the link at the bottom of the screen. Of course, if you have other questions about caves in your county or anywhere in the country, you know I'm a big fan of UG Extension on my shirt there. Give them a buzz in your county. They'll be glad to help you. While you're on the internet checking out Extension, like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page, slide on over and like the Ranger Nick Facebook page. I always appreciate that. And until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious, even underground. So pass it on. Look forward to seeing you right back here again next time. See ya.
Good times, very tight, very claustrophobic. Not that I'm claustrophobic,
Looks
but
fun.
It was a good time though. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Here's a reminder, all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll be informed and see what's up in the world of farming and here on the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.